I don't know if you're watching the series The Night of, but we've been really into this lately, and it's pretty fascinating to watch this play. I mean, not just with this show, but with a lot, but between the individuals as nodes within systems, and individuals with kind of a free choice motive. How environments form individual choice, but at the same time, the moral imperative within, how we as observers can imagine the different routes a story could take with each character's choice. I think this would make incredible work for participatory theater. As you designed the project, how did you think about this idea of what you call the consciousness has a potential to generate change, that students need to recognize the oppression within their system, especially when the oppression could be largely self-imposed?
So the teacher that I was working with in this particular project had that sort of question in mind for her classroom. So I should say, like, of course, Boal's work is always is grounded in the community of folks that you're working with. So in my thinking about designing that project, my questions for the teacher were about her own interests, her own intentions, what she understood about her own classroom, her own students, what she thought she would benefit from, what she thought the students would benefit from, and then ultimately asking them the same kinds of questions. So my role was pretty different from the way that I often thought about my role as an educator even. So this sort of harkens back to this idea of what it is to be an actor performer, what it is to be a teacher. So in this case, I was much more interested in becoming a part of the system as much as was possible, as much as they would allow me in those, in the short amount of time that we had together, but also not getting in the way of the work that they were already doing as individuals and also as a group of students in a classroom working together. So those were things that were important because of the process that we were working on, and those are things that I think are somehow connected to the idea that you're talking about here, where each student was an individual, each student was also connected to somebody else in the classroom. The teacher was an individual, but she was also connected to her students and to the larger system in which she was working. I think all those things were there. And what we were attempting to do, and I don't know how successful it was at sort of this macro level, but what we were attempting to do was to help all of us think in more conscious ways about those realities and what they meant for each individual student who was in that space, and how that he or she would be able to manage or navigate this space so that ultimately they could feel that they'd been successful in doing the work they were being asked to do.